Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. In this talk, number 54, recorded on June 16, 1935, an Andhra Pandit, an elderly gentleman, had some doubts regarding Kavyakanta's exposition of Advaita Vedanta. He has found it in books that Brahman is free from Sajatiya, Vijatiya and Swagata Bheda. Such conditions are satisfied in Vivartavada but not in Parinamavada. In the later, Swagata Bheda is bound to be. The master pointed out that Dakshinamurthi did not teach anything of the kind. He did not say that Brahman is related to Shakti or not related. All this was only in silence, and the doubts of the Shishyas or disciples were cleared. The significance is that there is nothing to be learnt, discussed and concluded. Everyone knows I am. There is the confusion that I is the body, because the I arises from the Absolute and gives rise to buddhi or intellect. In the buddhi, the I looks the size and shape of the body. Na medhaya means that Brahman cannot be apprehended by buddhi. From Brahman arises aham, from aham arises the buddhi or intellect. How can such buddhi cross over aham over Brahman and discover Brahman? It is impossible. Just get over the false conception of the I being the body. Discover to whom the thoughts arise. If the present I-ness vanishes, the discovery is complete. What remains over is the pure self. Compare deep sleep and wakefulness. Diversity and body are found only in the latter. In the former, the self remains without the perception of body or of the world. Happiness reigns there. The Shrutivakya Aham Brahmasmi relates to the state and not the mode of the mind. One cannot become Brahman by continuing to repeat the mantra. It means that Brahman is not elsewhere. It is yourself. Find that self. Brahman is found. Do not attempt to reach the Brahman as if it were in some far-off place. The Pandit remarked that thoughts are so persistent that the aham cannot be reached. The master said, Brahmakara vritti helps to turn the mind away from the thoughts. Either some such practice is necessary or association with sadhus should be made. The sadhu has already overcome the mind and remains in peace. His proximity helps to bring about such condition in others. Otherwise, there is no meaning in seeking a sadhu's company. Dehoham, dehaha aham, I am the body, is limitation and is the root of all mean and selfish action and desires. Brahmaha aham, brahmoham, I am Brahman, is passing beyond the limitation and signifies sympathy, clarity, love, etc., which are divine and virtuous. The devotee then asked, how does a grihastha or a householder fare in the scheme of moksha or liberation? Then the Maharshi replied, why do you think you are a grihastha? If you go out as a sannyasi, a similar thought that you are a sannyasi will haunt you. Whether you continue in the household or renounce it and go to the forest, your mind haunts you. The ego is the source of thoughts. It creates the body and the world and makes you think you are a grihastha. If you renounce the world, it will only substitute the thought sannyasi for grihastha and the environments of the forest for those of the household. But the mental obstacles are always there. They even increase in new surroundings. There is no help in the change of environment. The obstacle is the mind. You must get over, whether at home or in the forest. If you can do it in the forest, why not in the home? Therefore, why change the environment? Your efforts can be made even now in whatever environment you may be. The environment never abandons you according to your desire. Look at me. I left home. Look at yourself. You have come here leaving the home environment. What do you find here? Is it different from what you left? Even if one is immersed in Nirvikalpa Samadhi for years together, when he emerges from it, he will find himself in the environment which he is bound to have. That is the reason for the Acharya, which means Shankaracharya, emphasizing Sahaja Samadhi in preference to Nirvikalpa Samadhi in his excellent work Viveka Chudamani. One should be in spontaneous samadhi, that is, in one's pristine state in the midst of every environment. One should be in spontaneous samadhi, that is, in one's pristine state in the midst of every environment. Later on, Sri Bhagavan said, control of breath may be internal or external. The antah pranayama, meaning the internal breath regulation, is as follows. Naham chinta, I am not the body idea, is rechaka or exhalation. Koham, who am I? Kaha aham, who am I? Is puraka or inhalation. Soham, saha aham, I am he, is kumbhaka, retention of breath. During doing thus, the breath becomes automatically controlled. Bahih pranayama or external control is for one not endowed with strength to control the mind. There is no way so sure as that or a sadhu's company. The external practice must be restored by a wise man if he does not enjoy a sadhu's company. If in a sadhu's company the sadhu provides the needed strength, though unseen by others, pranayama need not be exactly as described in Hatha Yoga. If engaged in japa, dhyana, bhakti, etc., just a little control of breath will suffice to control the mind. The mind is the rider and the breath is the horse. Pranayama is a check on the horse. By that check, the rider is checked. Pranayama may be done just a little. To watch the breath is one way of doing it. The mind abstracted from other activities is engaged in watching the breath. That controls the breath, and in its turn, the mind is controlled. If unable to do so, rechaka and puraka need not be practiced. Breath may be retained a short while in japa, dhyana, etc. Then too, good results will follow.